Ron Malik, who's the car chief on the 48. He did confirm to me that Jeff Gordon's crew, the 2014, will hit the 48 when the 48 comes for its next stop. 7 pit stops for the 48 today, and they've lost positions on pit road in 4 of those stops.
During the 2010 chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, Jimmie Johnson had one of the worst pit crews out there, and Chad Knaus was fed up. 8 races into the chase, he ended up firing his own pit crew members and grabbing Jeff Gordon's to replace them in the middle of the Texas race after Jeff Gordon was crashed out. Jimmie Johnson would ultimately go on to win this championship with Jeff Gordon's pit crew. This has to be one of the smartest decisions a crew chief has ever made.
Checkered flag at Phoenix for Kevin Harvick. Newman's beside the 42, and he's 42's in the wall.
Clear, checkered flag, checkered flag.
Ryan Newman is going to get in with that move on the last lap. We said, what would drivers do to make it happen? We just saw what they would do. And that's going to knock Jeff Gordon out.
During the 2014 inaugural NASCAR chase for the Sprint Cup with the elimination-style format, it came down to the last lap and the last turn. Ryan Newman would drive it in deep into turn number 3, door Kyle Larson up the track, be able to pass Larson, which would gain him a point and a position, punching his ticket into the championship race, eliminating second-place finisher Jeff Gordon. This has to be one of the smartest, most desperate moves Ryan Newman has ever made.
In his first win, the rookie showed veteran poise.
Oh, we got something else.
I thought the engine died at first. I started getting closer and closer to that tunnel turn.
Hold the brake, hold the brake.
And I realized once the tire was down, I needed to go ahead and spin this car out before I get to the corner. Luckily, that's probably what saved us the race.
After crew chief Mike Ford delivered the damage repair, Hamlin delivered the FedEx car to victory lane.
Got checker flag. Great job, Denny. Great job.
Majority of the races won aren't about the car.
Taking the checkered flag on his first win in the NASCAR Cup Series, Denny Hamlin had to overcome adversity that day. He had a blown tire entering turn number 2 at Pocono. It is a very treacherous corner, and the best thing for him to do was to spin the car out so he wouldn't hit the wall. Hamlin was able to maintain his car's control as he spun the car out in the tunnel turn. He was able to regain control of his car and the caution flew. He was able to repair the damage and take home his first victory that day.
Custer's run Reddick down.
All over the back bumper. Can he get him loose? Down the backstretch they go. Here comes Cole Custer. They hit. Contact made. Tyler Reddick trying to stay on his bumper. Cole Custer trying to pull away. Cole Custer takes it in Texas.
All clear. One last charge right here, man.
It's all over, boys.
Was that the last best move made too soon?
Here he comes, outside. Just like in Atlanta last March. He's not going to be able to do it, I don't think. They're side by side.
Here he comes. Jimmy.
Hey, baby, bring it.
48 car. He did it. 3 in a row. Jimmy Johnson.
In that pair, it's Kyle Busch, Casey Kane.
And the problem, man, he's got no help. He's all by himself. But think about Kyle Busch. He lost the race yesterday by leading coming back to the checkered flag. And also
Think about the movement and drive over here. Think about your...
It's a 2-horse race. Clint Boyer's gone Stanley Steamer. Up in turn number 3.
Hey, boys.
A car length apart, Kyle Busch from Keselowski.
It ain't over yet. Remember that start-finish line.
I don't think he's close enough, Darrell. I don't think he's close enough.
Brad Keselowski pulling away. It's all happening behind him, and Keselowski for the second time will go to victory lane in Talladega.
Wow.
The best way to pick up a victory at a super speedway win is probably what Brad Keselowski did. He used Kyle Busch's pushes to his advantage, and they built up a huge lead and a huge margin on the rest of the field. Coming into turn number 3 in the final lap, Keselowski ducked high and broke the draft with Busch. Neither one of them was able to gain an advantage between each other, and Keselowski was able to take home the victory. Something that I have not seen to this day, but it is very remarkable that Keselowski was able to pull this off without any hiccups.
Almost squeezed Harvick into the wall, and here comes Harvick, the 29, with Matt Kenseth.
Oh, Mark got loose. Mark got loose. And Harvick's getting a run off turn 4. It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. No caution. They're side by side, right to the line. Big crash. Here they come. Checkered flag. Harvick. Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500. We got one car on his roof coming across the start finish line.
They're wrecking everywhere.
Kevin Harvick would ultimately pass so many cars in the final lap of the 2007 Daytona 500 as he side-drafted Mark Martin down turn number 3 and down the front stretch. Mark Martin would ultimately come up just a bit short to Kevin Harvick as Harvick would take home his first and only Daytona 500 victory in 2007.
There, Matt Kenseth, he really lost his entire race car and able to 22 to catch him.
Here comes the 22. He's closed the gap all over the back bumper now as they've caught this slower traffic. And around goes the 20, sideways in front of the 22. Kansas slides, cautioning out of turn 4. Logano's going to win again in Kansas.
I'm not going to agree that wrecking a driver and claiming the victory is a smart decision, but it worked out for Joey Logano in the end. Joey Logano ended up crashing Matt Kenseth with about 5 laps to go during the 2015 Kansas Fall race. He spun Kenseth out from the lead as Kenseth drove into turn number 1. Logano would ultimately take home the win that day and punch his ticket to the next round. But ultimately it did not matter because Kenseth wiped him out just a couple weeks later.
1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. And there's the gap between 1 and 2. Kyle Busch. And here comes Larson. Larson to the bottom of the track.
Slide job.
Trying to take the lead away.
Slide job. Almost.
The momentum. The 18. They make contact. The 18 into the wall. They're side by side again. Going into 3 for the lead. Larson has the advantage. Here comes the 18. He puts the bumper to the back of him. The 18 into the wall. The 42 sideways.
Where's Harvick?
Here comes the 18. Kyle Busch will win.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my man. What a race.
Chase Elliott has ever led in a race, but it might all be negated because they're getting a penalty.
I mean, you see the Jackman, he's a stall away. The Jackman's already in the pit box. So I've never heard that you can go back and reset it against pit wall. I mean, the penalty is the penalty. Obviously, the Jackman had a quick reaction that, well, if I go back, maybe they won't call it. He obviously knew he was early. I don't think that's an option. NASCAR will let us know, but they're calling the penalty on the 9 being too early. So for a pit crew member, the play of the year for that Jackman to have enough thought to say, I know I'm early. I'm going back to pit wall. Semke, that is, I'm talking MVP move. If the 9 goes on into the championship 4, that single move by the Jackman could be the difference.
100 awareness.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
100 awareness. And you can see how Allen was extremely happy with that, his understanding to go back to pit.
The pit stop that won Chase Elliott the 2020 championship was at Martinsville Speedway in my book. This wasn't even the championship race, but what this move did by the Jackman to reset his position and not cost Elliott a penalty and to cost him track position. This is one of the smartest and probably the smartest thing a Jackman has ever done in NASCAR. Elliott's Jackman has to be in the Hall of Fame one day after this move.
17 and the 24, they're going to try to block.
Eric
in
gets
the
up into the wall. Now the 24, a big run. He slides. They make more contact. 3 wide as they come out of 4.
Hamlin to the inside. Side draft coming from the 24 car.
Denny Hamlin. William Byron. Through the triangle, coming up to the stripe. And as they go across the stripe, a photo finish. Denny Hamlin gets the nod. Yeah, he gets forced down there. That 17 had come down the racetrack.
He does, but then he goes and he advances his position to these 2 cars.
The best way to avoid a crash is just passing everybody, right? It worked for Denny Hamlin even though he went below the yellow line, but he was able to do it because he was forced down there as they were all almost crashing in front of him. He used the advantage of the excuse of I was trying to avoid the crash, and it worked in his favor. Hamlin would take home his final victory to their 2020 season and one of his best seasons at this point. Hamlin would knock off another victory at Talladega.
For a championship in Phoenix, take a look at what he did.
I have never seen anything like that before in my life.
Well, Dale Earnhardt has gone out in front, but it has not been without incident here. Let's take a look at how he did it back in lap number 72. There you see, Bodine in the 5. He gets trapped on a slow car. And as he gets right, Earnhardt just drives around in the dirt.
Goes through the dirt.
That's a good example of what Earnhardt will do to get in the lead in the race.
You're getting to the outside of the 4-car, Kevin Harvick. Here comes Blaney to the inside, 3 wide. Custer to the outside, 4 wide.
White flag waves, 1 to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Next flag ends it.
They're banging off one another.
Custer to the lead.
Oh, heavy tire rub.
Length on second.
Oh, somebody missed the turn entirely.
3 wide, 4 wide for second. Here comes Austin Cindric. Ryan Blaney sideways in front of the field.
Side by side up front, though. Chastain, he's right there. They're going side by side through the kink.
And around goes the 1. He's able to get by the 8.
Unbelievable. Sideways, though. That's going to allow Reddick to get a run on him. Lost momentum on corner exit.
A lot of dirt and debris on the tires.
Chastain went off the track. So he did that access road to get back on track. Now,
I am sure. And all the places you can race here, you were looking for a spot there at the end. What were you thinking?
What do you mean, where?
Taking the access road there and getting off course there.
Oh, just trying not to be in the carnage there in turn 1. I thought we were 4 wide and couldn't go any farther right, and just decided to take the NASCAR access lane out there.
This probably did look like a really good move by Ross Chastain. Chastain basically drove off the track into turn number 1, used the shortcut access road, and came back in the lead. Something that wasn't necessarily against the rules, but how it looked on TV and how it looked in person, just how the optics made it look. Chastain was black flagged and placed last in the lead lap. But ultimately, if this move would have worked out for him, it would have been one of the smartest moves in NASCAR.
His win would take him into the playoffs.
Watch Noah Gragson right here.
The 9 looking low. Noah Gragson to the low side. And Creed, he pulls the video game move. He's in the wall. Can he keep the throttle up? Here comes Noah Gragson. Creed cannot do it. And Gragson will win at Darlington.
Wow. I've been working all weekend. I'm tired. I cannot sleep. I want to have fun. Stop working.
Unbelievable.
One of the best moves by Noah Gragson was how he won his Xfinity race at Darlington by driving into the wall but not wall riding it. Noah Gragson would pass Sheldon Creed on the final corner at Darlington, picking up the checkered flag in his remarkable 2022 Xfinity Series season.